Hi, I'm Leanne, and this video is brought to you by my new favorite phrase, my new mantra, never say never. That was a statement that I didn't use for the first part of my life, and now I do not go anywhere at any time, any day, without saying never say never, because that came back to say, bite me in the butt. I was a person my whole life that, as I have stated in my previous videos, never say never. I would never do that. I would never say that. I would never let anybody talk to me or treat me like that. Well, guess what? Not true. Thank you for coming to my channel. Like I said, my name is Leanne, and thank you for visiting me here at I Say This With Love 33. This is a topic today of something very dear to my heart, and shall I say, like, just out there in the world. To some of us, it means a lot of deep stuff. To some of us, it's just like, yeah, well, whatever, like whatever happens, happens. And I'm talking about divorce. I found myself getting a divorce after 40 years of being with someone, 35 of those years being married. I never thought I would even say that, and it's actually a little weird for me to even say it out loud right now, because I never thought I'd be at this space in my life. When I got married for life. I took my vows for life. I took them to my heart and soul, and I said them out loud. I signed my name, and I was in it for life. Unconsciously, did I not know, or did I not know? Well, I didn't know that nothing has to be for life. It's okay. But there's a lot of feelings and shame and guilt and fear that go along with that, which I'll get into a little bit deeper later on in the story. So I found myself at 15 meeting the love of my life and falling in love. I fell head over heels in love. Yes, I was way more mature for my age than a typical 15-year-old, and he was a little more immature for his age. It worked out beautifully. Like, everything aligned perfectly for that space in both of our lives, and it was perfect. I got married when I was 20, and it was a very beautiful experience, a beautiful time, a beautiful space to grow and grow as myself, grow as a couple, grow as we became parents. I was 20. I thought I knew the whole world. I thought I knew everything, and I was exactly where I wanted to be. I knew from an early age on that I always wanted to get married. I wanted to be a wife. I wanted to be a mom and have a house to take care of. When I was a little kid and elementary school, and we walked down the street to go to our friend's house to pick them up so we can all walk together to school. This was back in the 70s. I remember going to specific houses, and the moms were there cooking breakfast, getting everything ready, packing their backpacks, making their lunch, doing all the things, and I would just sit there and think, wow, like, that's what I want to be. I want to be a mom. I want to be a mom that stays at home and takes care of their family. And I did manifest that. I did create that. And I absolutely love that happened for me. I don't know where I would have been if I didn't make that manifestation happen, but it's beautiful, and it did. So for 35 years, I was married, created a family, created a home, created all the things that I wanted to create, whilst at the same time creating things unconsciously that I didn't know I was creating and that weren't healthy. And by that, I mean willingly giving the power to my husband to take care of everything, to do everything. I didn't want to do it. Like, I didn't have the confidence, the trust in myself, the awareness that, okay, well, so even if I do it and I make a mistake, everything will be okay. I didn't have that thought, so I'm just like, I'm not going to do it at all. I'm just going to do what I do best. I'll take care of the kids. I'll clean the house. I'll make myself do better, be better, blah, blah, blah. And after the years of doing that, and that Great Wall of China being built inside, it's gonna fester out somehow. And it did. And for many, many years, I didn't allow myself to feel the feelings that were coming up regarding things in my marriage or things that didn't sit well with me. I just pretended that this feeling in my stomach, my intuition, my gut, it's wrong. It doesn't know what it's talking about. Everything's fine. Let's just brush it under the rug. Everything's fine. But it wasn't fine, and I wasn't fine, which the energy around me, in my household, everything I created that I was not aware of back then, all those years, just oozed out everywhere. So here I was for 35, 40 years thinking that everything's great. We have a perfect family. The house is great. The business is great. The cars are great. Everything's great. We've created such a beautiful, perfect looking family situation set up that other people looked at us and thought like, wow, like they really got it all together. They're a great couple. Their kids are healthy and in line and doing great in life. But inside, internally, in me, I wasn't. I was not happy inside, but I was unaware of that fully until I got into my early 40s, and then a little more feelings started coming up around that, like perimenopausal age with the hormonal fluctuations, what I did talk about in the other video. But all the years, I tried to be the best wife that I can be. There was many beautiful, beautiful times that we had as a couple and as a family. And now that I can look back and know that everything happened perfectly, everything happened the way it was supposed to happen, and all the things that I was calling in and not feeling and manifesting were perfect lessons that I needed to learn to get to a space where I would wake up, basically. Wake up to myself, come back to myself. So after 35 and 40 years of being that person that just pretended everything was great and didn't speak my true feelings and didn't want to ruffle any feathers and didn't want to rock the boat, always walking on eggshells whether I needed to or not, I put everybody first. I put everybody in front of me. My kids, my husband, my pets, my house, the cars, the business, like everything came before me and myself. And eventually it just exploded. I know many of you out there have similar situations, and you might be feeling those feelings of like something just doesn't feel right. I don't feel content. I don't know. Listen to this. Like, so many years ago when I was probably like in my early 40s, I started to have these feelings of like, God, like, you know, something just doesn't feel right. And is marriage supposed to feel like that? Am I supposed to be miserable? Am I supposed to not like my husband? Like, I can't stand him sometimes. But you know what? I took vows. I made my bed. I got to sleep in it. So the guilt, the shame, the fear of like, what am I going to do? This is all I know. Like, this is what I created. I've been with this man since I was 15 years old. There's so much interconnected, like webs of everything, you know, everything we've accumulated that technically, realistically doesn't matter at all in life. But while you're here living the world and you're just getting through your days as a wife and, you know, as a mom, and you're just kind of like robotic and on autopilot, you just do, you just live, you just go each day, stuffing those feelings down more. I didn't trust my feelings. I thought I was being like unappreciative of my husband. like, oh, well, so maybe he's not great at that, but like, okay, but he's okay like that. Well, at least he doesn't do this, or at least we don't do this. But, so I always made an excuse of why, never pushed into my own feelings and openly allowed myself to feel that, which is so toxic and so not okay. But I didn't know it then, but I know it now. So I'm here to help you. I want to help you guys. Like, if you have any kind of feelings and you're not allowing yourself to feel that because of the way you were brought up, because of your religion, because of the vows you took, because of any reason in the world, sit there and just silence all that chatter in your brain, all that chatter that says, no, you're not allowed to, no, you're gonna go to hell, no, that's a sin, no, you're stuck for life, like, no, no, no. Just allow yourself to quiet your mind and open your heart and feel into those feelings. Why are you feeling that way? I didn't do that. I do that now. I live my life by that now, but I didn't do that. And that puts pressure and toxicity and chaos and all the darkness on a relationship. So meanwhile, while I was trying to be so preventative of breaking up my family or getting a divorce or even saying those words aloud or feeling them, I just pretended like everything's fine. Lee, you're fine. It'll be okay. And then as my kids started to get older, to the age where they're going to college and then they might be moving out and all that, and then the reality of like, shit, like I'm looking at my husband like, damn, like I gotta live in this house alone with him, and now I don't have my kids, which I have made my whole life and my whole heart and soul to be just him and I together. And I was like literally having those feelings like, I don't know if I can fucking do that. Like, ew, like I don't even know who I am. We are not the same people that we were. And I knew that I had evolved and I didn't know how to handle that. But we all evolve every day, as we should, but I was kind of in denial about it, as was he. So I felt things. I didn't allow it. I saw things. I just pretend it wasn't happening. But eventually my soul's like, Lee, like wake up, feel these feelings. You're not responsible for his happiness. You are not responsible for his contentment. You are not responsible to make sure that he feels whole as a person and that everything's taken care of for him, or your kids for that matter. Like, wake up, Lee. Stop being such a people pleaser. Stop putting yourself out there to be so proactive about everybody's happiness and contentment and making sure everybody's got what they need, making sure everybody has a smile on their face, because I never wanted anybody to feel any kind of darkness or sadness, because I didn't allow myself to. But that's part of life. And wow, have I been woken up over the past 3 years about that aspect? I'll go deeper into that. But I was always preventative. Nope, no family member of mine that lives under my roof is gonna feel any kind of pain or ickiness. I'll take all of it. I'll be the brunt. Let me tell you, like, that did a number on me. But it was perfectly perfect, because I had to learn that to get to this space. Long story short, there's lightness after darkness. I had to get to a space of deep darkness to finally get to this beautiful space I'm in. But to actually feel that I'm not sure if I'm in love with my husband anymore, or I'm not sure if I'm content. I don't think I want this to happen anymore. I don't think that it's healthy in the manner that we have let this relationship get to. I feel like there's some like toxic, unhealthy traits happening, and that maybe I needed to start to put up boundaries. Now, boundaries for me was non-existent for my whole life. I learned early on in childhood that I couldn't say no to anybody. I could do everything and anything for anybody if they asked me, no matter what, no matter how much I burnt myself out or didn't want to do it. I just couldn't say no in every aspect of my life. and it needed to be stopped. And my body was starting to feel physically like, girl, you need to put up some boundaries and get your shit together, because you are not gonna be feeling very good in your golden ages of life if you continue on this path. It took me a lot of years. I'm a very hard learner. It takes me a long time, and I'm a visual learner. It takes me a long time to acknowledge it, feel it, and release it, which I didn't do back then, but I had to keep relearning lessons over and over. So in this time of where I started to have feelings of like, ooh, I don't know if I want to do this, it was scary. To even think of the word like divorce was like, don't think that. Don't think that. Put it out of your mind. You can't do that. You've got 2 kids. You've got all these things. You can't do that. Well, it got to a point where things got worse and more toxic. And one day, back in 2022, I had an awakening happened. And my higher self said I was done with this, and I've learned my lessons. I didn't know that at the time what that meant, but I felt a lot of things happening, and I'll go into that in another video. But from that moment on, I stepped back and started to do like a major self-reflection and acknowledgement of, I'm not okay, I'm not happy, I don't like myself, I don't like my life, I don't like my husband, I don't like anything, and I need to heal stuff so I can be here on this earth to watch my kids grow older and have grandkids and be here for a very long time. It took me a long time. I started to begin my healing process and acknowledge and even say the word. I was driving to work one day, listening to some podcasts and some beautiful information that I had found to get to a space where I can start to feel like I can make a choice for myself and everything's gonna be okay. Like, it was so bad where I wouldn't even like be able to make a decision of like what I was gonna cook for dinner. Oh my God, it's gonna be wrong. Like all the things. I was just basically existing in a physical body, but I was dead inside. So one day after the healing process started, very shortly after, I was driving to work and something came to me, and I took a breath and I said out loud, I want a divorce. And then I started to cry. And for those words to come out of my mouth was so powerful. And I knew deep down in my soul that's what I needed to do and that's what I wanted. But I was so fucking scared and so fearful and shameful because I didn't want to disassemble everything that I had created in the reality, the physical reality, and all the expectations in my mind of what my whole life would look like, what my kids' lives would look like, what my husband's life would look like. So to say those words out loud and to release that was so powerful and validating. And then from that point on, I started to just start to chip away a little bit each day at what I want and to rebuild me. I would go to my yoga classes because at this point I started yoga to start to rebuild my heart, my soul, my mind, my body, my spirit. Like everything was dead and broken. Yoga came to me and was able to bring me all the words I needed to hear from the beautiful teachers, all the music, all the asanas and the poses to slowly build myself to a space where one day in yoga, probably the first 2 weeks of yoga, and the teacher had been talking beautiful mantras and beautiful things about self-love and allowing and surrendering. And I hadn't done that for the first 54 years of my life. I was like, I don't even know what this is, but I'm not worthy, and I'm such an idiot, and blah, 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 all the bad things and all the low vibration thoughts in my mind. Oh, that was so hard and so painful at that time. But slowly it started to expand my heart, and I started to feel and allow, you know what, like, I am a good person. I'm not an asshole. I'm not all the words that I let be said and brought in, that I called in to like not have boundaries about. I'm not that. I am me. I am a soul. I am a beautiful human on this earth, and I'm not a victim. It was so beautiful, and it took me quite a long time, I would say. I took at least a year and a half of being on my healing journey, going to my yoga practice, starting to listen to my intuition and my gut and my heart and all the feelings of my body. One day after my yoga class, I got a feeling. I'm like, today's the day. I am a warrior. I am a goddess. I got this. I know what I want, and I can do this. Release all your fears, surrender to the universe, and go get what you want, girl. Be the creator of your life. So I went home from my yoga class, and I asked my husband to please sit down. I wanted to talk with him, and I just flowed words out of my mouth that if you would have told me a year and a half before that would have happened, I would have been like, you're crazy. I said, I want a divorce. And to say that to him out loud in a space of love and peace and just pure, like, okayness, like, it's okay. I'm not going to get struck by a lightning bolt. I'm going to survive this. You're going to survive this. We're going to get through this. Yes, it's raw. Yes, it's painful. But I knew that we both knew we weren't happy. I can clearly look at his face and his energy, and like, he is not a happy person here. I need to release that. So I learned, and I know that I had to ask for a divorce to save my life, to come back to myself, to learn to love myself and come back to my heart. Because in actuality, I probably hadn't been in my heart since I was about 6 or 7 years old. I had to step away, take a step back, away from myself, away from my husband, away from my family unit that I created, so that the healing process could begin for all of us. That's fucking profound. Like, that's huge. And that feels good to say. It was such a heavy, raw space at that time. But I went into it with understanding that I co-created this situation for 40 years. Everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. I called in all these lessons. I didn't know that all those years. So yeah, I did feel like a victim. I did place blame on the other people, on the other party. Well, he this and he that, and I'm just such a poor victim and poor me, and nope. I take full responsibility. I know that now. I'm aware of that now. But I didn't know it then. So I didn't do it intentionally. I was just subconsciously living my life from all the things that I had learned in my childhood, from all the things that were passed down from generation to generation, all the generational trauma. That's like a downward spiral. Didn't know that, but able to see that. So I asked for a divorce. I filed for divorce, and for me to even get on my computer and type the words, how do you get a divorce, was absolutely huge. Because remember, I didn't allow myself to do anything. I was very unaware of like the computer and how to do stuff, and I didn't trust myself. I didn't own anything. So to type those words in and then see it pop up, it was like, oh my God, this is so deep. This is such a step of growth for me, but yet it's so scary. And how am I going to do it? How am I going to get a divorce? I don't want to do attorneys. I don't trust attorneys. I want to do this with as much love and grace and peace as possible, because I had gotten to such a space over the past year and a half of learning to love myself and come back to my heart and not live in fear, guilt, and shame. So I wanted my divorce to be as peaceful, as loving as I can possibly do it. I made it happen. Yes, it was hard. Yes, there's a lot of wounding and healing that has to happen with both parties. But I know that, so I held space for that. I filed for the divorce. I actually did the whole divorce online without hiring anybody. I learned how to get a divorce via YouTube and all the internet stuff. Like, I did it. And I can say, like, that was so validating for me in my own personal growth. It might be nothing to somebody else. Somebody might be going, oh my God, like, whatever, that's so easy, or why didn't you just hire an attorney? But for me, that was teaching me how to grow into trusting myself and honoring myself and doing what I want to do and not what everybody else is telling me to do. I stepped out of my back seat and took the driver's wheel. And these steps that I started to take were just like so beautiful. So I got through the process. I handled it with grace, with love, with as much awareness and space as possible. We actually lived under the same roof throughout this whole time in this process, which was a huge lesson. And like I said, I like hard lessons. So learning how to live in that space of this is all big, huge life events taking place, and I am dismantling the whole world that I created with love and grace. And it can be done without anger and bitterness and hatred and you're a fucking dick and an asshole and I hate you and you ruined my life. No, it wasn't there. I did it without that feeling. Sometimes I had to take a deep breath and count to 10 and just walk away because I could feel the energy and the darkness coming. But I didn't want to be there and I was blocking it from myself. So I'm like, I'll step out and I'll come back when we can be civil at another time. So I'm here to tell you, it can happen. It can happen with love, with grace, with understanding. It doesn't have to be dirty and dark. There was a point where I was just like so miserable and so not okay inside my heart and my soul. And I was at a point where I remember saying, I would rather live in the gutter with no money. You can have everything. I'm just going to walk out the door and just go live in peace by myself. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it or what, but like whatever, I'd just rather live in the gutter alone. And then I realized, God, like, Lee, you're bringing peace, you're bringing joy, you're bringing awareness into yourself, into your heart. And you won't live in a gutter. You're going to be okay. Everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. So after the aspect of asking, filing, doing all the stuff on my own, and the court actually sent my paperwork back 3 times. I'd get that packet back in the mail and I'd be like, oh my God, please, please, please let it be okay. And so whatever I did wrong, I just went on YouTube and like, how do I do this? And I did it. Like, it worked. On the third time's a charm. it went through. It was accepted. So when I got the finalized papers a long time later of the final judgment, and I got that packet in the mail and I knew what that packet was and I held on to it, and I'm just like, oh man, it was my grandson's birthday party day. And I didn't want to open the packet because I didn't want to see what it was saying, because I was going to leave to the party like in 20 minutes. I'm like, no, I'm not going to open it. I'm not going to open it. I'll just wait. And then I'm like, no, open it. And then I'm like, yes, no, yes, no. All the mind's like, blah, blah, blah. And finally I'm like, Lee, what does your heart say? My heart says to open it. So I opened it and it said, approved, like finalized, it's done, and it had the date that it was done. And I felt like bittersweet. My first thought was like Elle Woods on Legally Blonde. Me! I did it! I did it. I did it all by myself. I did it. And I'm here in this space to feel it and to be grateful for it and to realize I am the creator of my life. I can do anything I put my heart in. The fact that like I'm not married anymore and all that was like a backseat. It wasn't like, yeah, I'm divorced. What an asshole. I hope he rots in hell. Nope. My beautiful moment was like, I did it. Me, look at me. You go, girl. We fucking did it. It was a beautiful space, but it was also a surreal moment to think of the past 40 years of my life are now not what I had expectations that they would be. So we are in a beautiful space. I made it through this divorce with peace and love, and I got to a space of healing where I went in deep with understanding the generational trauma and how we all carry subconsciously, unaware wounds and trauma that we make us make decisions, and the way we act, or the way we repeat patterns. And I learned mine, and I was able to see and learn and understand from my ex-husband's point of view and who he is as a person and what he experienced as a child. And then even deeper, what did his mom and dad experience as a child? They only taught their children what they were taught. And then those parents to the grandparents and then the great-grandparents, just like all the generations back, was able to see it, understand it, acknowledge it, forgive it, and see everybody like as their wounded little child self that they were trapped in their bodies, but then they grew up in and had their own families and didn't know any different. Same with my side, my mom, my dad, my grandparents, great-grandparents, blah, 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 all the way back. Like, to be able to see people from a different perspective and their wounded self has so much impact on the healing. And I was able to forgive and hold space with love and understanding, and like, aha, that's why I acted like this, or aha, that's why he made that choice. You know, it all comes together, and we're all calling in what we need to learn. And I called in my marriage to learn all my lessons with my husband for all those years, and I'm so grateful for that time. And I was able to tell him, thank you for the lessons that you taught me. Thank you for teaching me how to build boundaries. Thank you for so many things. Whereas before I was like, you this and poor me and nee. It's so freeing. It's so beautiful to come at it and know and look at a different perspective with just pure love. Like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I come from a divorced family, and now I am divorced. And like I said, that's a little weird for me to say. It's probably going to take time to get used to. I don't have fear, guilt, or shame about that anymore. I know why that took place. And I know I'm healing myself and therefore healing my family and my ex-husband. It's a beautiful space. So people out there, if you're feeling feelings, if you're discontent, if you've gotten to a space where like you're over there and your partner's over there and you're not able to come together, like quiet your mind and open your heart. Feel your feelings. Allow that. It's okay. It's okay. And I can say that because I lived that for the first 54 years of my life. It's not a good space to be, but I own everything that I partook in and for my co-creation in all those days that weren't great, and also the days that were great and beautiful. Like I would not be here in this beautiful space in my life if I did not go through that journey. So remember, everything is happening for a reason, and everything will happen in divine timing. Just surrender and everything will happen the way that it's supposed to if you can allow it. Not try to be in control. I've learned that I will never say never, because I said I will never get divorced. I will never be the wife that does that. I will never let anybody talk to me like that, and blah, 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 blah. And as I look back all my years and all the things that I said I would never do, and now I kick myself in the head, like, Lee, never say never. Never say never. Beautiful lesson. Powerful words to live by, because you don't know what's going to happen in your life. If somebody would have told me when I was a kid and I took those wedding vows that in 35 years you're going to be asking for a divorce because you're going to be unhappy with yourself and miserable, and your trauma in your joints are locking up your body, your shoulders aren't working, your hips aren't working, like you're just deteriorating and just like contracting inside, and your soul is shriveling up and your heart is shriveling up and you're just dying internally, but to the outside world you just looked amazing and you just put this beautiful personification out into the world that everything's great. Yeah, look at us. I would have said, you're crazy. That was never going to happen to me. So remember, never say never. Allow yourself to feel these feelings. I'm going to go deeper into some of these subjects on another video, but I appreciate you being here. I hope that something in this video resonates with you. I do say this with love. It's a painful, raw process, and it can be very dark and it can be light. I am living proof of coming out of the darkness and going up to the light. Like, I am living proof. So have faith, have trust, have love, feel it. I appreciate this. Thank you for watching this. If you like this video, please click the like button and hit the subscribe button. And remember, never say never. I say this with love, 33.